I know, isn't it nice for a change, just to be kind of in, because we're always like, yeah! And I thought, we're going to pick something mellow for a change. You know, it's so good. It's so good to see all of you, as always. Okay, here's another one of my favorite jokes of all time. Okay, and Bev Berry sent it to me. This was, my gosh, probably 8 years ago. Okay, I know. No, it's good, Denise. You'll like it. A frog goes into a bank and approaches the clerk. He can see from her nameplate that her name is Patricia Whack. Miss Whack, I'd like to get a $30,000 loan to take a holiday. Patty looks at the frog in disbelief and asks his name. The frog says his name is Kermit Jagger. His dad is Mick Jagger, and that it's okay, he knows the bank manager. Patty explains that he will need to secure his loan with some collateral. The frog says, sure, I have this, and procures a tiny porcelain elephant. About an inch tall, bright pink, and perfectly formed. Very confused, Patty explains that she'll have to consult with the bank manager and disappears into a back office. She finds the manager and says, there's a frog called Kermit Jagger out there who claims to know you and wants to borrow $30,000. And he wants to use this as collateral. She holds up the tiny pink elephant. I mean, what in the world is this? The bank manager looks back at her and says, it's a knick-knack, Patty Whack. Give the frog a loan. This old man's a rolling stone. Are you singing that now? Isn't that great? That is definitely in my top 10. Okay, so that was good. Well, you know, it's interesting. You know, we talk about prayer a lot here, and how do we do prayer? And I'm going to have you do something with me today, but I want to share something with you. Of course, I always have a little story to share. And the top title is Pray Without Ceasing. How many of you pray? Okay, and how many of you don't pray? You hold positive intentions. It's the same thing, yeah? So if you do that, because prayer, you know, I think prayer's got a bad rap. It definitely has, you know, where, oh God, I beseech you, you know, don't put me into hell, you know, all that stuff. And we don't believe about that here. We believe, and then some people say, well, you can't ask God for anything. And I'm like, oh yeah, you can, because we are connected to the divine all the time. So whether or not you'll say, well, how come some of these people with money, they never pray? And I said, well, have you ever heard their thinking or what they do in their life? Because even if they don't pray, they obviously have some positive energy that they're harnessing in order to bring things to them. You know, perfect example, a lot of you were not here. We've got to rescreen that movie because we were crying, right, Denise?
Yeah.
This was probably, and I know I promote a lot, but God, that's part of who I am. But the deal is, that movie was so inspirational. We're in the back crying, and the name is Mully. And so you can pay for it and watch it online, but why not come here? You're going to pay the same amount. And it was the most inspirational film I have ever seen, okay? So we want to rescreen it because I'm telling you that story because this man had such incredible energy. Just a little brief thing. He was a street kid and he ended up going into a church one day and he's saying, well, that pastor doesn't know what he's talking about. And then he started applying it to his life and he became a multi-billionaire, okay, in Africa. And he started out just one car doing taxi rides for people. And that's how he started, right, Diana? And then the rest from there. I don't even want to tell you the rest because it's so miraculous. Oh, Barbara, you were there. I mean, it was so miraculous. I thought, my gosh, if he could do it, I could do it. And it was really a story of here's somebody in Africa who grew up on the street, had nobody, because his parents just left him one day. Just left him. One night when he was asleep, he woke up and he's like, where's everybody? Can you imagine a kid and he was what, 10? Or
no, he was 6.
Oh, he was, oh my gosh, that's even worse.
They took his older brother with him.
So anyway, yeah, so it was really something, and at first you're going, oh, this is going to be sad. It wasn't. I mean, it really showed the power of faith, it showed the power of prayer, it showed all of that. And we have a lot of classes that we teach here. And one of the things is about how much faith do we have? And I have a little quiz I'm going to pass out for all of you. I hope I have enough, I think so. And if not, I have more in my hallway. Anyway, it's about faith. Because what I've heard a lot, we had a prayer group for a while, and maybe I'll have to just do it once a quarter. Because what happened is people would say, well, I gave you that prayer and it didn't work. Okay, are you affirming that the prayer is not going to work? And that's really what we have to look at. So I want to talk about one of the people, and you may not think that she's really a positive gal, but do you think Whoopi Goldberg is positive?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right, so I just got to share a little bit of her story because I think it'll inspire you. And when she was a kid, she was always kind of unique. And she was always doing her own thing, and she always dressed like she wanted to dress and wear her coveralls and her tennies and all that. And she did that from the time she was a little girl. And her mother, and she had dyslexia. So she couldn't read and she couldn't write very well because of the letters all coming up backwards. You know who else has that? Cher is another one that has that. And they have obviously moved past that, and in their creativity they've been able to move forward. But anyway, so what happened with Whoopi is that she was having a really hard time in school, and her mother said, you know what, I'm just going to support you in what you want to do. Because Whoopi said, you know, I'm really good at acting. I can embody, you know, a plank on a street. I'm good at this. And so her mother said, you go for it, girl. That's awesome. And she did. And then one day, she had a friend, and they were going to go see a movie, and she was wearing her typical little crazy outfit, and the other girl was probably just like me. And she said, you know, you need to change, Whoopi. And her name wasn't Whoopi, it was Karen, by the way. That was her name. Yeah, I know, that wasn't her real name. Anyway, so she said, you need to change, because I am not going to go to the movies with you like that. Okay? And Whoopi said, say what? I am not changing. I like who I am. See, that's the thing. She loved who she was. She loved her creativity. She loved who she was. And you're saying, well, you know, that's awesome. And the mother, she says to her mom, Mother, do you think I should have changed? And she says back to Whoopi, do you think you should have changed? And she says, no, I'm happy the way I am. So what she realized, she was getting into acting and improv and all of that, and then eventually she had all these creative ideas, because we all know how fabulous she is, right? And she says, I'm going to create a one-woman show. Did you know that's how she got started? Okay, so she created a one-woman show, and she said the first couple weeks nobody showed up, then they started to show up because she knew it was good, it was her passion, and she loved it. So then eventually, Mike Nichols, who was a director-producer of movies, and if you don't know the name, and he saw the show, and he says, oh, I'd like to produce you. And Whoopi's going, yeah, okay, whatever. You're who? You know. And then a couple weeks later, he calls her, and he says, you know, I really want to produce your one-woman show and get it out on Broadway and take it mainstream. And she says, who is this? You kidding me, right? You know, and then finally, no, this is really me. She goes, well, are you sure you want to take a chance on me? Because she goes, I'm a little dicey every couple weeks. And he goes, well, how often are you a little dicey? She goes, well, maybe once every, I don't know, 3 months or so. He goes, I'll take a chance on you. So he did. From there, with her one-woman show, Steven Spielberg showed her, and she got cast in The Color Purple. Okay? The whole time, what was fueling her, and I'm going to say, you know, it was positive thinking / prayer, because what happened is that she continued to feel her uniqueness. How many of us have tried to mold ourselves to another way of being, you know, and try to please, and we can't do that. You know, I used to do it with men all the time, and finally I go, forget that. And then I met Art. He likes me just the way I am. So we've been together a long time, and I like him just the way he is. You know why? Because you can't change people anyway. And you know what? You have to accept each other for who we are and our uniqueness and our wonderful, fabulous, you know, even if we have some eccentric stuff, oh, that's really great. You know, you just accept it. Because in that acceptance, you're going to have more joy, more love, and more connection with each other, yes? And I'm working on that with my daughter, okay? Because she loves to control, and I'm just rolling with it. And I thought, you know what? Why am I not allowing myself to just let her boss me around and do what she, who cares? Who cares? So now I go, instead of fighting her, I go, okay, so now I say this to her. So, because she has two little kids, I go, so Mama, what do you want? What do you want, Mama? And then she has let go of the control crap. Because what happens is that as we kind of, as we're with them, as we're more zen with people, they're more zen with us. If we embrace them the way they are, right? It's exactly the way it is. And so we probably became more connected. I'm going to give her a clap. Yeah. And it was great, you know, because she saw and accepted me. As I accepted her, she accepted me. So I encourage you to be with what would you like to have in your life. Is there something you want to shift? Is there something you want to grow into? So in Whoopi's case, she went from the color purple into what? What's the most popular movie ever? Ghost, okay? So with Ghost, what ended up happening is she's saying, well, all these people are, you know, all these black women are auditioning for that part. And I can't remember, her agent said, yeah, but they're afraid that you're going to take over the movie, meaning they're going to only look at you. So Patrick Swayze goes, why aren't you having Whoopi Goldberg in this part? He said, I'm not doing the movie unless I get Whoopi. Okay? And that, I never knew that story. And I'm going to attribute to that for her just holding herself in that uniqueness and holding herself in that space of, I am fabulous just the way I am. And you know, and you watch her on The View, she's dressed all weird, and God bless her. And all the other ones are dressed all let me. And they're all, you know, because Whoopi's just Whoopi, right? And so are we able to hold that for ourselves and hold that? And if we want to say a prayer, maybe a prayer is to accept ourselves just the way we are. And we talk about that little song. You know, we love you just the way you are. We should probably sing that as the group song, okay? And change the words a little bit. Because when we accept each other and ourselves mostly the way we are, then we're going to have a shift in our lives. You know, Whoopi Goldberg didn't attract all of that fame into her life just sitting back and wishing for it. She attracted it because she had, number one, embraced herself, number two, positive energy, number three, she used her creativity, and her life was a prayer of positivity. And when we have that, we're going to attract that to us. So what I'm going to do right now, right here, right now, is have these, somebody want to pass these out for me? Douglas, you want to pass them out? And these are called a measuring rod for faith. And then we've got some pencils. Somebody else want to help pass those, please? If you need a pencil or a pen, I may not have enough pencil or pens, but we'll search them up for you. So if you don't need one, pass them on to somebody who does. Okay? Because I realized after that prayer group, what we need to have is faith in order to know that things are going to shift and happen for us, right? Because if we don't believe that, how are we going to have the prayer work for us? And we can have, like I said, my shaman pray for me and get the house. But what about the other things, like money, like relationships, like what about all that? So this is going to tell you where you are in life, all right? And then keep the paper because we're going to write out your own personal prayer on the back. And when you get it, let me know. There's some in my, are there extras? And there's some in my folder in the hall, Denise, if you want to go grab them. I didn't know how many people we'd have. My prayer was answered today.
I know, you asked for it.
I asked for it, baby.
You got it.
I got it. So great. Okay, so if you have this already, go ahead and you're going to grade yourself honestly. So don't sit there and say what you think it should be. Actually write down what, okay, so the first one is, and if you don't have it, I'll just say it out loud. Do I have a deep conviction that God's good is in instant manifestation? And do you believe that, honestly? Yes, to some degree, or no? And if it's a no, write it down, because then we can do prayer with you, okay? Anybody, everybody need a paper? You need one? George, anybody? You guys? Mel? Do we need more?
Do we need any more?
This doesn't have
The
questions.
guys don't have them in the back.
Oh, this is something else.
Something else.
Oh, you pulled something else out of my folder. Okay. Okay, we need how many more copies? 3? 3.
So you need a copy.
I think I need one.
Okay, make like 5. Make
You
like
need a
5.
copy to make it.
Okay.
Here.
Oh, here,
Because
I have
mine-
one. Denise, I have one. Use this.
Who hasn't written?
Okay, all right. Okay, so just be with this. The first one was, do I have a deep conviction that God's good is in instant manifestation? Do you really believe that it's instant? Okay, and then you're gonna write yes. Well, I don't know. Then you put to some degree. So, you know, and you don't have to raise your hands. This is more of a barometer for you to see where you're at, okay? So when you get them, when you get this. So when you get it, I'm going to read them out while the people that are waiting, you can think about it and then be with it. Number 2, do I believe that I have the right to have what I ask for? Ah! So it's yes, to some degree, or no, okay? So as you're going through it, be honest with yourself, because the only way you're going to be able to shift out your, I'm going to say your relationship with prayer, or your relationship with Spirit, is to answer these honestly, okay? And then the third one, as you're going through, do I have great expectations? You know, and I was talking to Art the other day, and I said, I expect to have things shift, you know, in certain areas. I expect it to happen. I have faith it's going to happen. Have you ever thought about it that way? I just expect it. Because when we have that feeling tone, that's going to shift us too, right? Do I know that what I believe will be demonstrated? In other words, do I know that what I believe will come true? Okay, so yes, you know, to some degree is maybe and no. And do I trust life to supply my needs for me? Okay, so again, do I believe in the authority of my word and my right to direct the power of God, which acts for me? And some of you may say, I don't know, maybe, maybe not. Do you believe that the answer to my problem is within myself? Do I believe the answer to my problem is within myself? So again, answer that. And do I have a deep conviction that all the Father has is mine? And I'm going to shift that. Do I have a deep conviction that the universe answers all of my needs? Okay, you can change that. The universe answers all of my needs.
And why did you change it? What's the subtle distinction?
Well, because some people have, you know, Catholic guilt stuff, and you say Father, and they immediately go into something else. So I have a deep conviction that I say, you know, that I have heaven on earth, that all my needs are met, right?
So that phrase was about the universe.
Just say that universe answers all of my desires. That's a real way to do it, kind of across the board. Okay, do I believe that life answers me according to my beliefs? Yes, no, maybe. And then, do I leave the delivery of my good to God, or do we keep digging up the plant once we plant that seed of prayer? Okay? And then, do I strive to prove... Pardon? Which one?
Stand number 10.
Do I leave the delivery of my good to God? In other words, do you believe that that prayer is going to be answered? Do you believe it? Or do you get out there and start hustling and going crazy and running around in a circle? If you're being guided to do something, that's a whole different thing. But if you're not being guided and you're running around in anxiety and stress, that's different. So when I pray, I say, okay, I'm gonna, God, you know my needs before I do. You wanna write that down? God, you know my needs before I do. Because when we do that, that's that. I am leaving the delivery of my good to God, okay? And then 11, do I strive to prove the power of my faith through thought, action, and feeling? And what that means, when I pray, do I feel it? And if you don't feel a conviction, whether it's positive or whether it's the prayer part, which we're going to get to in a minute, then that's the part to work on. Do I strive to prove the power of my faith through thought, action, and feeling? So, a lot of times we say whether we're using positive thinking when I was in the sales field or whether we're doing prayer. And what we always said, act as if. Act as if it's already happened. Act as if. Vision it. Right? Roxy?
12 is kind of ambiguous.
Okay, do I stand unmoved in a condition until I am master of it? Do I stand unmoved in a condition until I'm master of it? I would say instead of that, let's change that a little bit. Do I stand unmoved? I would say, do I stand in the truth that the condition will be changed? Do I stand in truth that the condition will be changed? Just change that whole sentence, because it is ambiguous. That's why I'm going through some of these. Do you believe, in other words, do you believe that the condition's going to change? Okay?
That the condition will be improved.
Exactly.
So does it mean like endure the difficult times?
Yeah. When you're going through a difficult time, do you feel that you're going to be able to get through that? Do you believe that the prayer is going to help you? Do you believe that your faith is going to help you? Because a lot of times what happens, and Whoopi said she was through a lot of hard times in her life. It wasn't easy going from that one-woman show. It wasn't instant success. You know that, right? So on the next one it says, do I believe that I have dominion over my own life? Do you believe that you are the master of your universe? You're the goddess of your universe. Do you believe that? And ask yourself that truth. Do you believe that? Because a lot of times when we ask these questions, we're going, well, how's that out picturing in your life? What's it really look like? All right, and then do I believe in my right to success? In our society, underneath a lot of what's going on in our world is that people don't believe they're worthy. And I always think about in the Wayne's World, I'm not worthy, and they go, no, get up, you're worthy. Because that's what God's always trying to tell us and what the universe and Spirit's always saying to us. No, you're worthy, you're valuable. But where is it where we have to shift and we have to change something in our DNA and in the way we've been taught and raised? Because I was taught and raised that, life is hard and it's a struggle. Because my parents were from the Depression era, and my dad worked a couple of jobs. So it was always like, well, the only way you're going to have success is to work hard. So that's really something to be with. Is that what you believe? Do I have a definitive purpose in prayer? And this is all setting you up to do what I'm going to have you do. Because if you have a purpose for what you desire, then your mind will align with that, and it's going to bring that into manifestation. So I know so many of you in this room, you've got health issues, you've got money stuff, you've got relationship stuff, or you just want more joy. It's whatever it is, let's work it, okay, and change it. So the last one is, do I expect fulfillment now? Do I expect in this moment? I'm praying coming up here going, you know what? I am too through. I want to have more people in service. Ta-da! And we do. It's fabulous. So I am so grateful because I finally said, I'm the one blocking my own stuff. I'm the one. And then even Art showed up. Yeah! So then, answer prayer, baby. Okay. And then I'm looking at people I haven't seen in a while. I'm just so grateful you're here. And, and it's not like, snap, I got it. Well, it's not that. It's that we just continue to, as we have the demonstration, as we have the proof, then what happens is that we continue to have that come into our lives. Okay, so we start out with, I want a parking spot in the front. Okay, well, until you get that parking spot, you don't have no faith. And it's true. And so as you're able to create that energy to bring that into your life, then that's what's going to bring us what we desire on a deeper level. I want to get healed from cancer. I want to get a man in my life. I want a better relationship with my wife or my friend. It doesn't matter what it is. So now you're gonna, okay, so how'd y'all do on that? Any no's? And just be honest to yourself, yeah. And you're gonna use this as a way to shift what you desire. Now you're gonna flip that paper over. You all have a pen and a pencil, yes? Okay, so what we use here is a technology called prayer treatment. And it's the most potent, powerful thing that we teach. And it goes across the board. I don't care if you're Catholic, I don't care if you're a fundamental Christian, it works because this is a powerful technology. And some of them do some of it, some of them take a piece of it. We do 5 steps, okay? So the first one, just write this down and you're gonna be able to use this as a template for you when you go home. Because it doesn't have to take hours to write out a prayer treatment. And then you'll just fill in the middle part, right, Douglas? And that's all you do. So the first part is, God is all there is, Spirit is the creator of the universe, whatever. Just say God is all there is. Or if you don't like God, Spirit is all there is. The divine is all there is. I don't care. Fill in the blanks, okay? So that's the first part. The second part is we are aligning ourselves with Spirit because we are of Spirit. I am one with Spirit. I am one with the divine. Okay, so that's number 2. Now, the most potent part of the prayer is the middle section. So the first part is, so the steps are, if you want to write this as an acronym, I am ready to receive, okay? I am ready to receive, okay? Because when you're ready to receive, that's how the prayer works. And when we're ready to receive, we're able to bring things into our life. That's why we that's why we pray without ceasing. That's why we develop our trust. So the third part is, some of you shouted out what you wanted. What do you desire in your life? So right now, what do I desire in my life? So I was praying and coming up, and I just looked at my daughter, and she got through with that cancer surgery 4 weeks ago. So she's alone today with the kids, and first time she's having to lift the bull bear, who's a little tank. So I was praying for her to have strength and that there was no pain as she was lifting up the baby. And you're going, well, that's not very much. Oh yeah, it is. So what do you desire? Do you want to have, I have new friends showing up in my life. What was some of the other ones? Give me some other statements, because we're going to do it in an affirmative way. What do you desire?
I find more ways to have fun each day.
Okay, there's Denise's. Okay, I find more ways to have fun each day. What else? Somebody was saying money. How do we want to say a money statement? Come on, practitioners. So what would we say about money?
The universe is abundant and I'm open to receiving.
Oh, did you hear that? Okay, so write this down. The universe is abundant and I am open to receive it. What else do y'all want? Okay, because you can write all these down. They're all good. What else do you want? What's another thing that you want to write down or desire for yourself?
I always pray.
Pardon, what's that?
Healthy brain.
Oh, okay, so I have incredible mental clarity. Because when you have incredible mental clarity, that helps. And Art wants, I have a hole-in-one at my next tournament.
All right.
I know, right? Okay, so what else? What else?
Okay, what about clarity about the future choices?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so everybody, how should we say that?
I didn't hear what she said.
She wants clarity about her future choices.
Your guidance.
So how about this?
I am divinely guided.
Yeah, I am divinely guided in all my decisions. How about that? I'm divinely guided in all my decisions. Okay, what else? So let's throw some stuff at that you think, oh yeah, you know, do you want more gigs, George?
Nope.
Okay. Do you want more rest?
No, my life is,
Your life is great. What would make it even better?
what would make it better?
Yeah.
Well, I think I want to write a hit song.
Oh, awesome! Yeah, and that's exactly, we expand. Because we pray without ceasing, because we don't stop and, oh, life is good right where it is. Well, what the hey? How about going beyond that? I was listening to Mark Victor Hansen, and it's called Big Thinking, and I thought, am I stuck in not big thinking anymore? So I really had to be present with that. What do we want to do in order to create more of our joy to come into our lives, maybe to challenge us? So how about, let's see, what else do you want? Like George?
I have perfect health.
Yes, I have divine perfect health. I have divine perfect health. That's another one. Anybody else? Roxy, what do you want?
I have plentiful fun and good people to share.
Yeah, did you? Okay, I have plentiful fun and good people to share it with. Okay, and what else? Okay.
I trust that I'll see the next step I'm supposed
Oh, yeah.
I'll see the next step.
I trust that I will see the next step in divine perfect timing.
Yep.
Okay, so say that. And a lot of times, you know, what else? Anything else? Come on, guys, because we're working it.
Well, this is a little more general.
That's okay.
One with spirit, one with blessed.
Okay, so Douglas just said, I am one with spirit, and I am abundantly blessed in all things. And if I was to expand more on George's, I would say the opportunities, the resources are available to me as I write this hit song, okay? And as it is brought to market.
What was this again?
Say it again.
I am one with spirit, I am abundantly blessed.
I am one with spirit, I am abundantly blessed with all things. Okay, what else? Denise?
You know, I listened so much to Terry Cole Whitaker. And
Yes.
She made her comment that I've been saying for years that I'm writing a book. So she finally stopped saying that and said, I have written a book.
Yeah,
So for
exactly.
George, I have written a best-selling song.
I've written a hit song. I have written a
best-selling
hit song. Yeah, that's true. And then Terry Cole Whitaker wrote that one book. I think she wrote two, I
She's
believe.
written far.
Yeah, more than that, you know, yes.
That kind of is answering my question, but I'm trying to figure out, so we're saying this, you know, as if it is.
In the present time, in the
not
present moment.
You know, what we want, but as if it is happening now.
Yes, because the universe doesn't know, okay, when we put it into the void, we call it, the universe doesn't know whether it's true or not. So let's make it true. And it's going to conspire to bring it to us. It's going to create the energy in order to have that happen for us, okay? So I'm not going to say, okay, what am I going to say? I got home at 8:30 last night, and went, oh, I'm exhausted. Oh, I'm not going to get enough sleep. Oh, are you going to say that before you go to bed? That's what happens, and then you're getting programmed into it. Oh, I don't know if I'm ever going to get that job. I don't know if I'll ever find any friends. You know, it's all of that. So instead of that, because all of a sudden I attract more friends into my life. You know, everywhere I go, I attract